Hi, I'm Jamie. This is Dead Dodge Garage, and this is a desirable A-body. Tiny spiders. We're gonna have to burn the shop to the ground. Okay, that's a little too close for comfort. Hopefully everybody got out okay. I think the shop's gonna be fine. With some much needed help from my friend Carlos, I've been cleaning the heck out of the shop this week. Looks pretty great. But is it enough small blocks? I've been planning to make a video about rebodies for quite some time, but I think I'm going to enlarge that to a couple other related topics. You see, my friend Dave, the Duck Man, is sick in the head for a 71 Duster. You know, like that part of a Demon with some different stuff up here. He really wants one of those fancy V24 coated performance hood models. Of course, unfortunately for Dave, values on those cars have skyrocketed. He wants one nonetheless, and he sent me a bunch of them. Now that thing I just said, values have skyrocketed. That presents a problem. You see, there were lots and lots of Dusters made in 1971, but only a very small percentage of them were the highly desirable 340 fancy performance treatment shark tooth grille. If you're talented enough, it's pretty easy to take a basic car and turn it into a not so basic car. And that's where you can kind of run into trouble as a buyer. To really know what you're looking at, you need to check the VIN. And almost as importantly, the Fender tag, which you'll notice is missing on this particular model. The Fender tag is a small sheet metal tag your Mopar was born with. It describes exactly how your car should be put together. For example, this tag for my 68 Charger, although it's harder to understand due to the weird hieroglyph alphabet setup as opposed to the later letter codes, it describes a red Charger with a white top, a white buddy seat interior, and a 383. So, although the paint has been redone and it's technically wrong, I happen to know that this is actually what this Charger should look like. It's not supposed to have a 4-barrel, and it's not supposed to say Magnum on it, but it's fine. It's cool. More on that in a minute. Now I'm going to level with you right here and now. I don't know a whole lot about option codes. I don't really want to. I've never wanted this thing to rule my life. Why is there a B here? In fact, I kind of prefer cars like this with blank spaces where the Fender tag is supposed to be. Cars that are totally the wrong color with totally the wrong interior and totally the wrong engine. Awesome. In the world I choose to live in, cars like this are the best. I could give a damn what the tag says on that car. And this is why, much to the annoyance of some viewers, it's never my first instinct to point the camera at a Fender tag in a car. I'm just not really all that concerned with what it's supposed to be. I'm more concerned with what it is and what it can do. To a real collector, what the tag says is kind of important. So having the Fender tag missing on this car pretty much means my life is over, right? No, it's okay. I got the window sticker. I could definitely have a new Fender tag made for my 2 owner numbers matching, usually 71 Demon. And I might do that someday, but it's not very important to me at this juncture. There are a handful of different ways to turn a Mopar into something it's not. The ones that come immediately to mind look like this. Number 1, a tribute car. A tribute car is built for fun. It's generally a lower line car, like this 318 Charger. You might find things like a tail stripe, like mine has had added, a performance hood, nicer features that could have been found on the higher level car, but generally, there's still a 318 or something lower powered under the hood. Donnie over at Big Wrench Tech has the Plymouth equivalent of this 73 Charger in a 73 Satellite Sebring Plus, pretending to be a Roadrunner, which he calls false advertisement. Much like my Charger, false advertisement is wearing a stripe it doesn't deserve to have, namely the cool late Roadrunner stripe that does that. Unlike some of the things we're going to talk about, a tribute car, not really nefarious. That stripe's not fooling anybody. This is not an RT, and it doesn't say RT on it. If I were to install RT badges on the grille, well, that might just be getting into clone territory. Let's say you really want a 1971 Dodge Demon 340, but you can't find one to buy, or you can't afford one. All you have is a 1971 Demon with a slant 6 in it. As mentioned, it's basically the same car. So, with the purchase of some choice components, it's something you can do. You'll have to install the Demon 340's special dashboard, of course. If your car was an automatic and you want a 4-speed, you'll have to make some modifications there. And you'll need some decals too. I bumped the car and it started gurgling. That was weird. If you drop a 340 under the hood and make all the other necessary changes to that body, you've got yourself a Demon 340, mostly. And personally, I think that's awesome. If you want to build a car like that for yourself, more power to you. What you will have built will be fun and enjoyable if you did it right. Here at the VIN tag, it's still going to say slant 6. And here on the fender tag, if you have a fender tag, it's going to tell the world that this is not a 340 car. But why would you care about that? I wouldn't. Let's say you did all that and you want to sell it for real 340 car money. A real collector that knows these things is going to come to these tags and find out that it's not what you say it is. But what if you could change those tags? What if you could change whatever disappointing letter was in the 5th position of your VIN from the factory to an H, the one everyone wants to see? You can, but only if you're willing to break some laws. These VIN tags can and have been faked over the years. They're not even that hard to change, although it is hard to get them to look correct. And if you didn't guess already, or didn't know, these fender tags can be faked too. There are companies out there that reproduce these. Of course, they're going to want to see some documentation, which I have, so that's good. Back to what brought me to make this video today. This fender tag. I don't really know a whole lot about fender tags, and I kinda don't want to. But the Duckman does. It's very important to him, for example, that the fender tag on his Dream 71 Duster says this, V24. The V24 hood is this glorious thing. It's flat black, accompanied with black fender tops, which continue back here and wrap around the back window, and joined here by the 340 wedge callout. There are no scoops. And yet there are so many 71 Duster 340s that have them. Isn't that interesting? Maybe they should have just bought Demons, where those were actually an option. Anywho, back to this patinaed fender tag for Dave's prospective purchase. It's fake. Now just so we're all on the level, I didn't know that the first time I looked at it. What the heck do I know about fender tag codes on a V24 Duster? The V codes are for performance stripes and treatments and what have you. Like on my Demon 340, for example, where we see V68, delete performance side stripe. Looks pretty deleted. And we see V8X, rear deck panel stripe. Yeah, that. On this example fender tag for a different V24 Duster, we see the same V8X and V6X, which I'm assuming is the side stripe. And there we see the V24 hood treatment. Notice V24 is at the front. Of course, you'll notice they kind of move around the tag depending on how many options the car had, but here again, V24 at the front, V24 at the front, V24 at the front. On this tag, it's here. That's wrong. And that's not all. The end code here, at the end of the top line, don't ask me why they're printed that way, says end 2. This varies by plant. And don't ask me which plant is which, because I just don't know. But it should either say EN2 or END. It should not say END2. So what does that tell us? It tells us this tag is fake. Now I'm not going to show you the particular car that this tag is on. That's really not the important part of the story here. The important part is that this can happen. A car you're looking at might even have its fender tag. Oh yay! And the fender tag says it's supposed to look exactly how it does. But the fender tag may be fabricated. This is not an authoritative guide on fender tags, real or otherwise. I am not an authority on the subject. Just be aware that if you're looking at a collector grade car, this could be a problem. And you should consult someone who is familiar with this. The names Dave Weiss and Galen Covier do come to mind. The fender tag on this car definitely doesn't say 80s slant 6 4-speed overdrive Durango seats and a future turbo. I should get back to this thing. Oh look, the Demon moved. There's actually a little accidental car show in my driveway right now. Because fire. Well, okay. We don't really know how that car came to have a fake fender tag. We don't really think it was the seller that was responsible. He seemed pretty genuine. That car did have a 340 VIN, and it appeared to be original and correct. It matched the Fender tag. If we were looking at the car, there would be a way to confirm that, to verify that the VIN on that tag matches the car. Stampings in the sheet metal. Now this varies by body style. On my Demon, it's stamped into the radiator support right here, which is a common location, but rather inconveniently, it's hidden under a ruined sticker. Here's the radiator support marking on a late B body, and it does indeed match the VIN on this car. That's great news. Not that I had any doubts. E bodies have a stamping in the cowl up here. There's another stamping in the trunk, and there may well be others, although I'm not really sure on that. If you just put 2 and 2 together and realize those markings could be cut out of one car and welded into another, you just got back around to a word I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Rebody. The thing about classic Mopars is they rust. They do it for fun. If you own a classic Mopar, it's out in your garage rusting right now. Sometimes, instead of just removing small portions of the back of your 68 Charger, the rust monster takes like all of it. Rust never sleeps, and it has no prejudice. It doesn't care if your car came equipped with a slant 6 or a 426 Hemi and a 4-speed. It'll eat it all the same, sooner or later. Of course, it's not just rust that claims these classic vehicles either. It could have been slid sideways into a pole, rolled 17 times, and landed in the bottom of a ravine. And the only pieces that survived were, the VIN tag and the Fender tag and the important stampings. These Chargers are worth tens of thousands. A Hemi car is worth hundreds of thousands. Do the math. Someone who's hell-bent on making a ton of money on a car and really doesn't care about violating federal statutes can drill out those rivets, unmount that Fender tag, and ideally remove the original numbers matching engine. And if they want to do a good job, they're going to cut out the body numbers too, and transplant them into a regular Charger. Now, I'm not using my imagination here. This has happened many times. This 1971 Challenger RT, for example, which says 426 Hemi on the hood, is a rebody. Surprise, surprise, nowhere in this ad does it mention that. It merely says it underwent refurbishment. It definitely doesn't mention that those pieces of metal I mentioned a minute ago were cut out of another car and welded into this one. And then it was painted the color that the Fender tag indicated and equipped with all of the nice bits to make it appear to be a 426 Hemi car. Thankfully, the good commenters on Bring a Trailer keep on top of this kind of stuff. It sold at Mecum for $105,000 earlier this year, which is interesting. For a Hemi Challenger, that's actually pretty low. I probably shouldn't care what collector gets screwed on what car deal. But I do care when the same sort of tomfoolery affects those of us out here in the real world who just want a nice car to drive. Which actually brings me to the last entry on my list. A cool driver. If you just want to build a car to enjoy, build what you want. Grab whatever options you like the best, whatever engine you like the best, which obviously is a 440, and build yourself something cool. Fender tag be damned. Build what you want and enjoy it. But don't commit like a felony and turn a car into something it's not with the intent to defraud others. That's bad. And if you're looking to buy a genuine collectible, as Birdsong says, don't get tooked. Consult knowledgeable people on that body style. Ask around in the groups if anyone knows a car you're thinking about buying. Do your best to do your due diligence, find all the information you can, and verify that what you're looking at is worth looking at. Or, you can always email pictures to me at deaddodgegarage@gmail.com, and I'll take a look for you, if I have any time, in between rebuilding 27 small blocks. And that's all I have to say about that. Now I gotta get back to rearranging my speed parts and slicing my hands open. Shop Band-Aid. Fixed. What do you think about all this? Are clones cool? Are tribute cars cool? Are ratty drivers cool? You don't have to answer that one, it's yes. Anyway, thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes you get, and sometimes you get got.